Happy Valentine's Day, and welcome to Read, Watch, Play, the show where we talk about the comics we read, what we've watched in television and sci-fi movies, and what games we're playing, although maybe this week, maybe not too much of that. I'm your host, Clifford Parmenter, and with me as always...
It's Tony Cox. Hi, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.
So, should we get right into... Oh, wait! I get to do this. How was your week, sir?
My week was pretty good. Yesterday may or may not have been my birthday.
Oh, really? Happy birthday, Tony!
Jeez.
Happy birthday, sir!
Did not see this coming.
Really? Did you kept seeing the blue bag and kept thinking
I didn't even see the blue bag. It didn't register.
So great.
I thought you were going to a baby shower.
On Valentine's Day.
Let's see. What do we got here? Ooh, something homemade. Well, it says homemade. Coming in hot. All right, let's see. I'm assuming it's something ceramic. Ooh. Coming in hot. Ooh, nice.
You like big mugs.
I do like big mugs. This may be the perfect size mug right here. I'm going to be honest with you because shorter mugs, like normal size mugs, are too small for me. And that big one that you gave me, I love for eating ice cream or soup out of, but coffee. It's
right,
this
is like a coffee.
This
mug.
is nice. This is very nice.
I'm glad you
Thank you very much.
I want you to know, I was looking at a Star Trek one, but it's like it was just another huge bowl.
Oh yeah.
And we had a conversation previously about you and an actual coffee mug, and I'm like, I'm gonna get him a proper coffee mug.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you. I use coffee mugs a lot too, so I do appreciate this.
Very good.
I'm starting a small coffee mug collection. So
you can see I have quite the collection.
Yes. This is great. Oh, that's right, because all of your Instagram photos of you drinking coffee.
Yeah, so. CliffNY on Instagram. You can go back and do hashtag Days of Coffee.
I should do that too because I definitely drink coffee a lot. So. All right, so let's jump right into it because we got a lot to talk about. Let's start with comics, and since you're the resident comic book expert, let's jump in with what did we read? And Cliff, you read Supergirl number 18. I love this cover.
The cover is gorgeous. This is the variant cover, by the way, but it's the one I picked up immediately.
I have really been happy with Supergirl covers for the last several months, and this, you were mentioning that this is a costume that she wore late 70s or early 70s?
Yep, late 70s, early 80s. This was her costume for a long time. Supergirl went through like some really bad outfits.
Yeah.
So her like predominant one when she arrived on Earth was just blue top to bottom with a yellow belt, and the blue skirt ended at her knee. Then it went through like this phase with like, big thigh-high boots with ringlets in it. And then we got to this in the 70s, which was great. She's got a blouse with an S on it. The little, scarfy cape thing happening, which I love. And I feel like this was a predominant look for her. And she even made a couple of Legion of Superhero appearances with this outfit. So I really like that. And then, of course, we have her current outfit, which is I'm just waiting for them to change it. Like, we're getting the underwear back on Superman. I want Supergirl to, look like his cousin. I don't like that she's got, that weird, jagged... Kryptonian-esque.
Yeah.
So
I don't mind it so much. It's kind of a nice. You can definitely tell the difference between the two, but
right. But I mean, it's the house of their house of Al.
That's true.
I want them
That's
to
true.
have.
Yeah.
I want them to have. Even freaking John Kent is running around with his jacket. I mean, let's bring the family together. Speaking of bringing family together. Oh wait, no, still Supergirl. Good issue. Thumbs up. Giving it a woo. Supergirl's prom is trashed by yet another creature, or person actually, sent after her by the DEO. And, so Supergirl uses this woman's powers against her to kind of wake her up to what's going on. And, by the way, there's also a nod to Superman 3 in here. Go back a little bit. One more. Oh, my Lord. It's really back. There it is. Here's a nod to Superman 3. She changes in the prom photo booth. And the photo also, nice. Her DEO issued glasses is what changes her hair color. So she has brown hair as Kara Danvers, and then
it's very cool.
Yes. So she's there. Ben is her date. They have a big adventurous evening, of course. Supergirl is able to defeat, I already forgot her name, who was introduced at the end of the last issue.
Oh. Doesn't even say what her name is.
Nope, it does not. And in fact, they don't get into it too much.
Whoever that is. Right there.
And surprisingly, not Livewire.
No, that's exactly who I thought I was going to say. It's Livewire, but then she looks different than
No,
Livewire,
she takes psionic memories and uses her own memories and uses them to induce pain in her enemies. So Supergirl takes one of those attacks and forges it right back at her. And then she spends the night on the beach with Ben, just sleeping. Uh-huh. And her glasses slip off and she realizes it. And her super hearing wakes her up that there's people in trouble. And she's like, I gotta move, I gotta run, I gotta do something. And then her super hearing tells her the DEO is doing stuff. So she's like, you can enjoy a moment and be you. And then, of course, Dr. Veritas gets a very special surprise from a very special someone.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
It's not too big of a surprise if you've been following the issue, but it was good.
Very cool. All right, so next up is New Superman and the Justice League of China.
So, super unexpected villain here. It's Sleaze from Apocalypse. Sleaze feeds off of your emotions and amplifies them. And of course, his favorite emotions are gluttony, pride, lust. Ooh. He is a sleaze. So he really gets right to work on the Justice League of China and messes with New Superman's head a little bit. The side story is this guy who is emitting water constantly, and he lives in North Korea, and he's a student. And the North Korean government brings him in for questioning, and they start beating him up because they're like, you have an unauthorized television, so you can get, broadcast signals from South Korea. And he tries to deny it, and he's like, no, anything for the fatherland, whatever. And he's like, okay, I like The Simpsons. So they start beating him up, and he's emitting water everywhere. And they're like, oh, it's like beating up a sponge. But the thing is, whatever his ability is, the more water he emits, the more aquatic creatures he creates. So now the room is full of water, so a giant crab comes out and essentially rescues him and also calls him Your Highness.
Whoa.
So Avery... The Aquaman of China. Avery is the Flash of China, right? So Avery and New Superman, in their probable heightened emotions, have a kiss. Mm-hmm. So it leaves them feeling a certain kind of way. Mm-hmm. But then the end of the episode is they're going to the border between North Korea and China because there's a guy on a giant crab coming right towards them. It's a good issue.
Pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun. Seas of Change is the name of the issue. So I'm gonna give it a woo. I'm still very amused with the book, and I really think that Gene Luen is doing a great job, and Brent Peebles is doing a very nice job on art.
By the way, we should have mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, but this is previously recorded from this afternoon, just so you know. It is Valentine's Day, so we decided to give ourselves the evening off, but we still wanted to put a show out for you guys. So if you are typing in the chat, we do apologize. We're out having dinner somewhere, enjoying ourselves, hopefully. I'm probably at home with my kids yelling at them, but...
I'm having an awesome dinner.
Yeah, you're probably having an awesome dinner.
Check my Instagram.
So any comments or comments, I said comments twice, that you have, tweet us. Tweet us up at the top there.
Comments, thoughts, and suggestions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'd love to hear from you guys, and we'd love to keep the conversation going. So, moving on, next up is Shade the Changing Girl and Wonder Woman special, part of the Milk Wars series.
It's part 3 of Milk Wars.
Part 3?
So Diana actually has a little bit almost memory of what she should be, but she's living with all these women. They're all Shade the Changing Girl broken up into emotions, and they are each managing Diana emotionally one at a time. So Diana can only experience emotions one at a time, and then of course the milk is keeping her under control. And surprise, surprise, do you know which of the emotional portion of Shade is like actually the one trying to figure it all out and help? Happiness.
Huh.
Happiness, who should be keeping Diana happy and out of everything. Happiness is the one going, I feel something's wrong. This doesn't seem right. There's also sort of things going on here. So she goes to the halls of their headquarters, and there's all sorts of things there that are saying danger to her. And the more she exposes it, the more her sisters get upset until everything comes together, and she makes everything right in the world of Wonder Woman. In the meantime, Wonder Woman thinks she married Steve Trevor and gave birth to baby Steve. And then when she pictures marrying Steve Trevor, he has a milk carton for a head. And then that's when she starts to really piece together, my memories are horrible.
Oh, wow.
It's very nice.
So is that the whole thing? Is like they're in this world and they're themselves, but
right.
they're not really. But like they're themselves, but they're not seeing themselves as themselves.
No, of course not. They're buying into what they are, like Priest Batman.
I did see that on the cover.
It was so good
from last week.
So good. Did you enjoy my little live from home last week?
Yes, it was fantastic. All right, so where are we on the woo-boo scale here?
I'm still on the woo, and also I love Mirka Andolfo. Mm-hmm. She did that. I had that signed picture that I got as a gift for Brian and at Christmas, and so she did the art on this, and of course I absolutely love it. Or she did some of the art on this anyway, because you could tell there's changing moments in there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying the series. The series is super amusing and weird in the DC young animal sense, which I just feel is basically Vertigo.
Yeah.
So I'm good for that.
All right. So next up is Justice League of America.
Also by Steve Orlando.
Number 24, Deadly Fables. Yes, and Supergirl was also Steve Orlando.
Yes, with Jen Hauser.
Right.
Because I think issue 19 might be his last issue, and she takes over the book on her own completely.
Very cool.
But yeah, so Justice League of America 24. All right, he did not work on Shade and Wonder Woman, but he is writing the series. So Justice League of America 24, Queen of Fables versus Promethea.
Promethea.
So Promethea is the hero of Immateria. She is the embodiment of pure imagination.
Okay.
And she had her own series back in the days of DC had a subprint, and that's why they have all this Alan Moore stuff. Mm-hmm. I want to call it, I don't know, awful of me not to remember. I think it was like ABC Comics. Anyhow, so of course, Queen of Fables, the guardian of Immateria, they're really having at it. Vixen, who is presumed dead, is actually with all the Wishers, and she unites them together to take down the Queen of Fables. And Queen of Fables is like, I already have your fear, so this doesn't even matter. I'm gonna keep fighting. But she rallies up the troops. And ultimately comes down to Caitlin really has to save the day. Mm-hmm. But as you know, Caitlin's wish was to be cured.
Yeah.
Right? So Caitlin grabs hold of her sister, the Queen of Fables, because that's their whole deal. And she's like, the only promise she's ever going to deliver on is vengeance. And she grabs her and she freezes her and presumably kills her. And then she immediately goes back to being Killer Frost. And Promethea resets everything to be as it should. And she goes over to Caitlin and she whispers something to her ear, which we never learn what that is. We're never told. Caitlin said it's exactly what she needed to hear. So I think that's very nice. And she accepts the fact that they will keep looking for a cure, but there may never be one.
Wow.
So yeah, I thought it was a very good conclusion. And And it starts with Vixen talking about, I know why you guys made the wishes. I know it's because the world has not treated you well. I know there's dark Batman running around, ruining everything. And like, so anyhow, I thought that was really cool that that's happening when she's rallying the troops, you know? And then at the end of the issue, they're like, so where do we go from here? And then you hear, to go to a world that needs us. And Batman has returned.
Nice.
And he appears to be with Ray Palmer. So, if more multiverse, more mini multiverse action. But it's nice to know that at the end of this issue, it seems that, you know, Dark Knights is over.
Interesting. So woo boo.
It's a woo. I'm thoroughly entertained.
All right. Next up is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Zod's Will.
Okay,
and you've been super excited about Zod's involvement in the DC universe in general.
So much. And
so you would kneel before Zod. It is the wrong question to ask.
It is the wrong question to ask. Art's beautiful on this book.
Oh yeah,
and
that's really good.
And Robert Venditti does an amazing job of storytelling here. The Green Lanterns have been captured. Zod has their rings. The Eradicator is staying in the rings. The Eradicator is using his wealth of knowledge and technology to build the best fortress of Zod, to have the best defense, and when they got there, they started killing people right away to make sure that they worship them as gods immediately. Wow! So this comes to bite Hal in the butt later, because when they want to escape, they realize quickly that people worship Zod, and the ring cannot translate their language because it's never been cataloged before. Now, how could they escape? Hal's ring was forged by Hal himself in the heart of the lantern previously in the series. So Hal is literally an extension of his ring. And that's how he calls the ring breaks free, he's free, and of course the regulars are all over him. He sends Kyle back on his own using the power of the ring, so goes to remain to be captured. But before he escapes, Zod invites him to dinner. And Lorzod has questions, and Ursa, Zod's wife, and yes, it's Ursa, like Ursa from Superman 2 and Superman the movie, not Feora.
Right.
I think we had this conversation before, and I presumed it was Feora, but it is Ursa. Ursa just...
How great is it that they drew him like Terrence Stamp?
Oh, so great.
It's amazing.
So great.
It's so amazing.
Yeah. If there's anything we can say about Ethan, he is a very talented artist.
The art in this is fantastic. It's really good.
But yeah, so it's like a rescue mission, and it's just a fun issue, and it's great to see Zod. So it's really funny because it's amazing. Like, I'm so impressed with whatever's going on between this title and Action, because things that you're seeing in this probable future with Superman and Zod are things that are happening right here. Zod is very much about raising his son. You know? Like, when he asks questions, Fiora's like, we shouldn't have to answer anything. Let's just kill him. Ursa. Let's just kill him for being insolent. Yeah. Just the whole thing.
Wait, kill the kid?
No, kill Zod, right?
Kill Zod?
No, kill Hal. I'm going to
kill Hal.
Kill Hal for being insolent, right? Thank you for catching me.
Wow.
And the son's like, I want to know, like, what's the Green Lantern Corps? Right? And he's like, oh, well, they're like policemen of the stars. He goes, there was one on Krypton known as Tomar Ray, right? And he's like, and then Ursa's like, and then that was it. And he let our world die. He failed at his mission, you know? And like Ursa's just like foaming at the mouth, rage and disgust all the time. So anyhow, dinner clearly doesn't go well, but like Zod like tries to be like nonchalant, but Hal just gives like a really like screw you answer, and he's like, oh, go back to your cage now because I was trying to be cool here.
Wow.
Oh, when Hal's escaping, the constructs break apart by the Kryptonian crystals that they're using. Oh, so like they start getting attacked by the natives, and the natives use the crystals and start shattering his constructs.
Oh wow.
So it was very interesting. So he told Kyle, report everything back to the core. Everything. Yeah. You know? So it was good. I really like this issue. I just love Zod out of his element. He's so powerful and cunning and manipulative. I love when we're able to take a great villain and put it outside of the normal elements.
Yeah.
You know? Like watching watching the Green Lantern Corps go up against Zod is awesome.
It looks awesome. So it sounds like a woo.
It's a big woo.
All right. Next up is Dark Knights Rising: The Wild Hunt, a Dark Knights metal tie-in.
You would be fascinated by whose story we start out with in this issue.
I flipped through this issue earlier today, and the end, like that in particular,
is amazing.
So
the story begins with the origin of Detective Chimp.
That's amazing.
Whose initials are DC.
Yep.
And Detective Chimp tells us about how he and Rex the Wonder Dog met, and how they went to the Fountain of Youth and drank from it. Now, you want to know what's something, and so of course it made him immortal, but it also made him super smart and able to talk, and able to solve just about any mystery. But what's happening to him in the present is he realizes that music is instrumental in guiding them in the battle, right? It's funny, it's DC metal, and so therefore music is instrumental, right?
Oh yeah, the metaphors.
And basically what the dark what Barbatos is projecting is just a horrific noise. They're trying to cut through it by accessing the universe of music, right? And now, by the way, Grant Morrison wrote this, so you can expect some wackiness in here. So, like, they travel through the bleed on their ship, and they're trying to access the harmonies of the multiverse to travel through the bleed and all that craziness.
So crazy.
But in the meantime, we do learn from the Batmen that they may not be 100% happy with what they're doing, because they wanted to be rewrite everything to be the heroes. And Bryce Wayne, she says, but are we the heroes here? And then, of course, they start yelling at each other on who's betraying who.
Of course, because that's how all villain teams end up.
Of course.
Arguing with each other.
But it's great. Again, another battle with the Batmen, which the heroes have to escape from, because, of course, it starts going badly quickly. Flash does manage to convert the Red Death. And Barry is the survivor of this connection to the Speed Force. So that universe's Barry teams up with our Barry to give our heroes a fighting chance. And then of course he's immediately betrayed, and it's like, well, you never understood the full plan anyway, because you were always the weak one, and we knew this.
Wow.
So great issue. You know, as I said, the story, the stuff happening outside the main story is like my favorite part of the whole thing. Yeah. The art is very good. Red Tornado awakens. He's totally flipping out about being awakened. He's like, if I'm awakened, then that means you open the door. If you open the door, we're screwed.
Wow, this is good.
It's a fun issue. It really is. Oh, and it ends on Detective Chimp, who's been losing his power. Right? He can't use the full capacity of his mind. The way he's talking is getting kind of messed up. And Barry sent out a distress call, right? And Earth 53 responds. There is no cataloged Earth 53. The cataloged Earth 53 in the Arrowverse on television is Earth X. We find that out in the Earth X crossover. Yeah. But here, it's the world of the Super Pets. And they reach out to Detective Chimp. So Earth 53 has come to the rescue.
Very cool. Wow. Very cool. Very cool.
I love it. And also, like, those characters, those Super Pets, are all from, like, the future, too, to top it off. So it's just, I love, only Grant Morrison could make these choices. I love it.
Very cool. All right, so next up is Superman in Action Comics, number 997. We're inching closer and closer to that 1,000.
I just hope the whole issue, I hope it's 96 pages of just beating the crap out of Zod. It's great.
All right, so this, as you mentioned, Zod
they're in the future. He's fighting Lor-Zod, and so they're still on the same planet. They're on They're in Sector 2811, by the way, and it's Jakul, right? Jekuul. So Lor-Zod has been raised there to take over. He's not as proficient with his abilities as Superman. Superman beats the hell out of him. And he's like, oh, if only someone else had trained him. right? Mm-hmm. They're immediately attacked, and it's like, oh, you want to fight somebody, someone who really knows how to fight? And it's Zod, who has grayed in hair, by the way.
Yeah.
Still rates kicks Superman's butt. The Eradicator is a machine, so he looks the same. And Ursa doesn't, I keep getting her name wrong. Ursa doesn't have a gray hair. But she is as vile and nasty as ever. They're like, oh, you guys got here through time travel? Well, we're going to figure it out, and we're going to time travel, and we're going to crush you, and we're going to crush you out of our lives. And he's like, and I'm going to raise my son. I'm going to make sure I never sat in the Phantom Zone, and then I'm going to Phantom Zone your wife and child away forever after I've left you for dead, so that you can die knowing the horrors that I had to experience. And then Feora jumps in and she goes, oh no. She goes, let's just go back to when that cow of yours, that pet is pregnant, and I'll snuff her and your child's life out. That would be so much more fun for me. So Feora is just vile and nasty and horrible.
Yeah.
And they're left in a giant trap. In the meantime, Lois finds her husband. Lois finds her father. That was horrible. Lois finds her father, Sam Lane, with the help of John, who's now exposed himself that he's been helping. And she's like, you're supposed to be with Perry White. And he's like, yeah, supposed to, Mom, but not. Sam Lane is furious that there's a boy with them. He's like, this is supposed to be my grandson. You brought him to a war zone, Lois, you idiots. So they get bombarded and apparently left for dead. But we know John is invulnerable, so let's see how that works out. Dun, dun. And Superman and Booster are left for dead, and Lorazad crushes Skeets, which was very upsetting. Oh, yeah, he says some disturbing stuff after crushing Skeets. Then he's like silence. He goes, because he's like, you're not a Kryptonian. I'm sure you'd be nice and squishy under my boots to Booster. And then of course they round up the natives to watch. Sure. It's horrifying. It's so good.
All right, so still a woo on this storyline?
Oh yeah, come on, man. Even in a probable future, fighting Zod seems just to be great.
All right, so next up is The Flash, number 40.
And to my surprise, taking place after the annual.
Struck down by the Lord of Lightning. Now remind me what was in the annual again?
It was Wally coming together.
Right,
now, this takes place after the last issue as well, where they encounter Grodd. Yep. So what we now know is Grodd is dying. He wants the Speed Force to heal him, because, of course, one of the effects of the Speed Force is rapid healing.
Yeah.
So Kid Flash and Avery, China's Flash, are both there.
Ooh.
To try and help. But a bunch of the rogues are assembled by Grodd. So Multiplex is fighting them, and so is Black Hole. So Barry gets stripped of the Speed Force. The special rod they used, the kids run away with, Avery and Kid Flash. There's another speedster who was born out of the storm. She's there, and she's working against Barry, but she doesn't expect that Barry would be used to be killed or something. Grodd gets the Speed Force. It's not healing him, at least not properly. So he gets inside Barry's head to show him that he's nothing. He's like, you were able to fix all these things in your life, all these tragedies in your life, only when you became the Flash. Without your powers, you are nothing. And then once he's stripped him of his powers, he spits on him and goes, in fact, you're less than nothing, and tosses him to his death, and Wally West saves him, the original Wally West. And Barry then declares Wally the new Flash of Central City.
Oh, because Barry doesn't have his powers.
Because Barry doesn't have his powers. He goes, well, you don't understand, Wally. He goes, you are now the Flash. So, great issue, and Flash War is coming, and it's all heading somewhere. I just want it. They don't have to kill anybody. They don't have to kill off any characters. There's room for like 5 Flashes, okay? I mean, so just put them all somewhere cool.
Is it going to be a war between the Flashes, or is it going to be a war between anybody who has the Speed Force?
It might be anybody who has the Speed Force.
And Grodd just got the Speed Force. And what if Grodd can run like the Flash?
Oh, well, we're going to find out next issue. But yeah, it was cool. Wally saw the bolts of lightning, came to his aid, and of course he saw the bolts of lightning at the end of the annual. Because he's like, "Oh, I'm needed," and he starts doing the run. Cool. I'm really enjoying it. Williamson's doing a great job writing the story, so cool. I'm happy. And Iris is back to normal and frozen in time with the others. So, because God froze Central City in time. So there we go.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Wonder Woman number 40.
Yes.
Swan Song.
So when we last left them, Silver Swan, cut Jason through the jugular.
That's right.
And left Jason and Wonder Woman plummeting down to the ground to their probable death. But it's Wonder Woman, so that's not happening. Jason can heal super fast like Wonder Woman. And he's like, do you think it's another gift from our father Zeus? And she goes, it might be Zeus, but I like to think it's Demeter who gave us the super healing powers. And she's wondering what Steve might be up to because she could use his advice at a time like this. Steve is fighting the female Furies for his life because the female Furies have come for another one of Darkseid's artifacts. They go back to the hospital where Vanessa was kept, and as Silver Swan, she murdered everyone, cut herself open, and let her blood leak into the computer systems to wipe out her entire medical history across the world, which Wonder Woman thinks is impossible. The only person she knows who could do something like that is Cyborg. Vanessa escapes, attacks Jason again. Jason starts to feel like a liability. Wonder Woman defeats Vanessa. And, it tells her, that's it, let out all your rage, let it all go. Drags her under the water. Vanessa lets it all go. And she emerges normal, old Vanessa in Wonder Woman's arms physically. She takes her to a hospital. There's a lovely doctor there. It's like, I'm going to take care of her. This unit that we put her in will contain her, even if she regenerates her wings or anything. So don't worry about it. Except, of course, who do you think that doctor's under the control of? The doctor's really Dr. Psycho. So he'll be back to torment Wonder Woman later. Jason writes a note saying he's leaving to go find his destiny, and maybe his destiny will find him. That's the note that Diana sees. But Jason is actually sucked up in a way by a vortex of cloudy purple energy. So I don't know what this means there's a lot of Darkseid stuff happening in the background. I want to believe that it's Darkseid related, but at the same time, this whole storyline has kind of been a little bit under siege. So maybe this was Ramos' way of just, I got rid of Jason. Someone else can play with him whenever they want to play with him, and if no one ever wants to play with him again, that's it. We wrote him off. I don't know how I feel about that, but again, it's issue 40. It's really good. I want to see where the whole thing with Darkseid's going. It's like, if you really love Darkseid, you need to be reading Wonder Woman because everything is going down there with him. So, it's a woo. And it was like sad with the whole Vanessa thing, And apparently Vanessa had like a rare DNA basis to begin with.
Oh, wow.
So that was an interesting comment from Wonder Woman.
Interesting. All right, let's shift gears a little bit to Marvel. And Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing, and The Human Torch, Fate of the Four.
Yes. So, Chip Zdarsky, amazing.
Number 3. I love Chip Zdarsky.
The issue opens with Doom and the Mad Thinker. The Mad Thinker is like, where's Reed Richards? Where's Reed Richards? Doom is like, Richards is dead. Just straight up dead. So what exactly are you doing here? Then we cut back to The Thing and Johnny. Johnny's powers are waning. And we discovered this in the last issue. So they go to talk to Hercules, whose powers were also waning, and he went to this doctor, Dr. Cole, Koul, right? And she got him his powers back because basically Hercules accesses powers through a reservoir connected to his father Zeus, right? So she just taught him how to tap into that to just be, super mighty Hercules. When they get there, there's a bit of an altercation because someone the client that she's helping is Hydra Man. And Human Torch is like, your client who's trying to kill us on multiple occasions? She's like, you guys need to calm down. And then Hercules is like, hey, I realize it's Hydra Man, but this is her house. You need to calm down. Nope. Huge fight. Wow. She uses her cybernetic arm to defend herself. And she makes Hydra Man leave through the toilet. She's like, the good guests get the front door. The bad guests get the back door. And he's like, water is water to me, and just scoots away. Right. And of course, she got him his powers back, so that's all he cares about. Yep. So she doesn't believe in multiverse travel. They are holding Reed's device for multiverse travel, and Doom gave Ben, the real recording of Reed, in case I die, use this to travel the multiverse. So Ben absolutely believes that Reed is dead.
Yeah.
Right? And so does Doom. So every time they talk about this, Ben is like, but on the inside, he's like dying inside because he's like, my friend is gone. This whole thing we're doing is for nothing. So Dr. Cole agrees to help them if she gets to travel the multiverse with them, and then tells them that both of their powers are degrading because if the four of them are not in the same universe, in the same planet, their powers cannot be maintained.
What?
Yes.
That is cool.
And then we cut back to Doom and the Mad Thinker. And Doom tells the Mad Thinker, you are nothing. You're no Reed Richards. Reed Richards is the only person who's ever my equal. You're a fool who stole a bunch of his stuff like a common thief. And the Mad Thinker is just having no more of it and teleports Doom away to Antarctica. Right? And then he goes, you don't understand. Reed's gone. A void was left. He goes, you think you could fill the Iron Man void, Victor. He goes, well, I'm going to fill Reed's. And he starts messing with his hair. And he's like, I'll make my own Fantastic Four. And he's like raving in the mirror like a crazed Reed Richards. It's great.
Wow. Woo. And next, the multiverse.
I know. It's so great. Which means they'll finally start traveling. I'm very excited for that.
Maybe they'll go to Earth 53.
Down in the Marvel Zone.
All right, a couple of quick reviews.
All right, so X-Men Blue 21. I am really disappointed that it's. I did not love the annual, and I don't even think. I'm not going to be honest. I don't even think I finished the annual. Ooh. After I kind of was like, don't worry about it. And then guess what? Issue 21 picks up from the freaking annual, and then it continues. Anyhow, you know what? If you're a completionist for your X-Men run, get it. But if you're not, and you just skip this story because it's not doing anything for me. And then my other honorable mention, which is really cool, Jupiter Jet number 3 came out. I like it. It's good for young readers. Jason Inman and his wifey are doing a lovely job.
And she's
Robinson, Ashley Robinson. Sorry guys, I'm terrible. But it's a good little book.
Awesome. All right, well, let's jump into what did we watch. And before that, I want to mention I actually got to wear a T-shirt on the show. And for those of you who may notice, it is the Simba Black Panther. I saw it and I had to buy it. I think I mentioned it to you last week, but
it's Disney Marvel-rific.
I know, it's just perfect. It's I'm very excited. I'm going to wear it when I go watch Black Panther this weekend.
And so. I'm wearing red and Valentine's goodness with my Star Trek. Yes. My Star Wars. Look, I slipped, man. I've had a long morning. So and a long week.
Plus, we're doing the show earlier in the day, so that's thrown off the timeline.
No, it's thrown off everything. Yeah. Like I was reading comics well into the night, like freaking drinking coffee, balancing my antibiotics, all sorts of stuff.
Antibiotics?
Yes. No, not for anything contagious.
Okay, good.
We talked about it earlier.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
But anyhow, so I'm wearing this, and I'm not sure if we're going to wear this on my date tonight or not, but the card I got Brian says, the Force is strong with us, and it's the shadow of Leia and Han. Right?
Yeah.
And so, of course, I don't love that part. But there's no one else in the Star Wars universe for us, right? So maybe one day it'll be a Poe card with somebody. But anyhow, in all seriousness, it's like the Force is strong with us, right? And
so you should be wearing a Star Trek T-shirt.
Why?
Well, because there is some.
I know, but they didn't make a card of it. Well, also so
Star Trek is better than Star Wars. That's all I'm trying to say.
In many regards, yes. That was another battle we had last night at the other Kerwins.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we were arguing about the technology between Star Trek and Star Wars.
Oh, Star Trek is far superior.
Except in space travel. I have to give it to Star Wars. They are travel much more.
Sure. All right, I'll give you that.
That's the only one I'm going to give. But if I want you to understand, that's the only one I gave. Yeah. I gave to them. Star Trek beat them everywhere. I was like, look at the freaking generators alone. Yeah. It's like, hey, computer, make me some hot Earl Grey.
Yeah.
So anyhow, on the inside, it's like Destiny brought us together. The longer we're together, the more I know we were meant to be. Mm-hmm. I love you, but you already know.
Yeah, that's great.
I think it's the greatest thing ever. So I'm sorry.
My wife says that to me all the time when I tell her I love her. She goes, I know. She said it to me today, as a matter of fact.
Aww.
All right, so it's because I have a thing. I have a box on a lamp in our living room that allows it to be turned on by Alexa, and I also have an app on my phone that I can turn it on anywhere. And so I was turning it on and off while she was there, while she was working from home, and I was here at work. So I was just making it go on and off, on and off, on and off. And then she texted me with one word. She goes, "Seriously?" ? And then I said, "Haha, I love you." And she goes, "I know." So anyway, it's a funny story. So let's jump into what did we watch, because there were a lot of trailers that came out.
There
Super Bowl
were.
trailers, some other trailers. So let's get
Some
started.
more worthy than... Wait, okay, so the real winner of the Super Bowl, by the way, Tide.
Yes.
Those Tide commercials,
The Tide commercials
were amazing.
were absolutely incredible. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl, and the next day Adam came in and he goes, "Oh, it was worth it for the Tide commercials alone."
Tide won.
Oh, it's
This is just
amazing.
a series of commercials where it's like, this is a Tide commercial.
Yeah, nope, Tide ad.
So
and
great.
It was funny. I saw a meme today that was Padme and Anakin. And I think he says something like, "I think this might be a trap." And then the next frame was David Harbour's face on Padme in a bright white, her white halter top and a gun. She goes, "No, it's Tide ad." It was great. It was perfect. So, all right, let's jump in with our first trailer that we're going to talk about today. And that is, we got an official teaser trailer for Venom.
Go use
Starring
pictures.
Tom Hardy. Rumor has it, Tom Holland as Peter Parker will be making an appearance in this, thereby tying it to the Marvel MCU.
I hope so.
But Spider-Man will not be in it. But
That's okay.
But Tom Holland, Peter Parker will be in it. So I'm very excited for that. We didn't see Venom in this trailer at all. But are you excited for this?
I was never too excited for it. This trailer it didn't do much for me, but I respect them not giving us too much too soon. And I just don't know what's wrong with everybody that they wanted to see Venom now. I'm okay waiting.
Yeah, me too. I mean, and I'm not the biggest Venom fan in the world.
I would have liked if I would have liked the teaser not to be so ambiguous.
Yeah.
Like that's. If you're going to do it but not show Venom, then, give us something else to work with.
Yeah.
Instead, we just got flashes of a whole series of characters and a very loose grasp on something happening where he's restrained and they have a symbiote.
Yeah. And this was a teaser trailer. It's not meant to give us much of the story. It's
No,
meant
but
to introduce us to the tone of the film, which I think it did.
I guess, but come on. It was. I guess my problem with it, even though I defend not showing us Venom, right? But it's a little bit hollow. But I love Tom Hardy, so
I'm not going to disagree.
down.
I love Tom Hardy too. Captain Picard clone. Look it up. It's interesting because my relationship to Venom, I actually never read anything that had Venom in it until I read the Thunderbolts back, 4 or 5 years ago. The Thunderbolts.
So you weren't
run.
even exposed to Eddie Brock Venom.
No, my really was always Agent Venom with the Thunderbolts, with Elektra, with Red Hulk, with those guys. I've never that was my, and I only read a handful of those issues too, but that was my Venom. So and the Venom from Spider-Man 3, which was not the best iteration of the character, to say the least. So I'm excited for this movie. I think Tom Hardy is an amazing actor, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I very much like the tone of the trailer, and I'm excited to see that tone with a superhero movie behind it. And I just hope it's good. I just want it to be good, which is, I want every movie to be good. So
I want it to be good too. I also think they need to adjust their strategies.
Okay.
But
fair enough.
I just, I've never felt so in the middle. I understand some people's disappointment. I also feel they're being too hard about not getting to see Venom. But I also feel they didn't deliver something to raise expectations. It certainly didn't raise my expectations. I do like Tom Hardy, but that's about it.
I'm at a wait and woo situation.
That's where I am. I'm like this, I'll wait.
All right.
And I'm happy to.
So next up was Deadpool 2. trailer with Cable, the introduction of Cable. Man, right off the bat, action with Cable, serious tone, action, and then the joke about the green arm, dropping it in with some classic Disney jokes. A reference to the mustache gate of Justice League. Just pure Deadpool married with this serious action tone of Cable. And I love that they didn't give us too much of the two of them together.
But yet, that trailer got me crazy excited.
Oh, yeah. Very excited.
Like, this is what you need to learn.
Yeah.
From other movies. Like, this was definitely a teaser. You see everybody. You have no clue exactly what's happening. We do get a little mini origin of Cable. Even through all the hilarity of it, it's still a little bit of an origin. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there was enough here to hook you. Like, hey, we kind of told you who Cable was. And, oh, look, all this other stuff is going to happen. I loved it.
I just can't believe that they went for... like this serious green, and then the green, and just absolutely incredible. And I guarantee you Ryan Reynolds had a hand in crafting the dialogue for some of that.
Of course.
And just absolutely incredible. They blew me away with whatever expectation I would have had for a trailer, and it's gotten me more excited about the movie than I already was. So.
Super effective choosing trailer. And can I just say how happy, it doesn't matter because only the people who are closest to me would even know. But since the days of freaking X-Men Origins, the only thing good that came out of that movie was like, man, Ryan Reynolds being like Deadpool. That would be so amazing. Yeah, and for years later for it to come true and to be truly amazing. Yeah. Makes me so happy.
Oh, it's fantastic. And it appears, I sort of got the feeling that Cable comes from the same future that we saw in Days of Future Past. Like the movie Days of Future Past.
So young Cable is in that movie.
Oh, he is?
And then in the fixed future, you see him run through the mansion like somebody, like just some kid. So, but that's okay because clearly time travel ruins everything.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. I both love and hate the fact that Fox is just like continuity schmontinuity. Like, I love the fact that it frees them up to tell these different stories and they just do whatever they want in each movie. But I hate it in the fact that it's not cohesive at all.
In the meantime, I find it cohesive because I tell myself Wolverine time traveled, it caused a ripple effect.
True.
Where things shifted on both ends.
True. Yep. I can see that. So huge woo for me on this.
Huge woo for me too.
Next up is Solo, a Star Wars story. We finally got a trailer for this. And we got a little teaser at the Super Bowl. And then the next morning on Good Morning America, they dropped the full trailer. And I was pleasantly surprised. I have some issues, but I'm, again, just going to wait and see for the full movie. Because I had some issues with the Star Trek Discovery trailers, and I ended up loving everything that they did in that show. So what were your thoughts on this?
Better than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see the movie just the same.
Oh yeah.
But it's funny. Anyhow, it seems fine.
Okay.
I want to be more excited, and I'm pretty excited. I like what I saw. Let's put it like that.
I mean, you said looking at this picture, you want the movie to be good because these people look like
exactly. I want the movie to be good. The trailer didn't tell me the movie was gonna be good. The trailer just looked really entertaining, and at least I'm gonna get an entertaining movie out of this.
What was the best part of the trailer?
I liked when they were escaping in the Falcon.
Okay.
And
who was the best part of the trailer?
Lando
Calrissian.
Absolutely.
I want Lando a Star Wars story more than I want Solo a Star Wars story.
I really honestly do. I'm just give us Lando.
I will tell you this. The reports are that this is Lawrence Kasdan's swan song. He wrote this with his son. He's passing the torch. This is his final, Star Wars script, if not final script in general. I think he's retiring. And all of the in-talk was this was the best script he's ever written.
It makes you feel good.
So, and I think one of the reasons why there was a change in leadership with this film is because the original directors, Chris Lord and Phil Miller, or Phil Lord and Chris Miller, I always get them mixed up. they were not sticking enough to the script, and that was one of the biggest problems that they were having. And so I feel like this movie has a potential to be amazing and great.
Well, with Ron Howard, I expect great things.
I expect great things with Ron Howard too, but then we get movies like Due Date or what was the one?
Why do you have to go to these dark places?
What was the one he just did with Chris Hemsworth in the sailing one?
Why do you have to go there? Why do you have to do this, Tony? Why do you have to bring those things
Because
up?
I expect great things, but recently I have not gotten great things. From
like
Rush. Rush is amazing.
You didn't like Due Date, really? It was a charming and whimsical film. Okay?
I'm just saying, comedy may or may not be his strong suit. Stick to epic biopics with race cars. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, there's a Millennium Falcon here.
This is true. This is
So
true.
that should give us
Well,
hope.
and that was surprising is that there was not as much humor as I was expecting in this trailer, and that actually got me a little bit more interested in the film.
I feel like Han is a funny character.
Oh, Han is a very funny character, but
So,
it's his funniness comes from his stubbornness.
No, of course, but
And
I feel like the character brings about humor. Also, the fact that I heard that Harrison Ford was personally not on a paycheck at all, talking to this actor regularly about embodying the spirit of the character and how he felt embodying the spirit of the character all those years ago. I thought that was amazing.
I don't think we saw enough of Alden Ehrenreich to really judge his performance.
I'm not going to judge.
I was not super impressed with it. I was more impressed with Donald Glover as Lando.
You know one of my problems
just
is?
like the charisma that oozes out of him.
How old is Solo Han supposed to even be in this movie?
So I believe this movie is approximately 5 years before A New Hope.
And yet he looks the same age as the Han we get in A New Hope. Wasn't he only 22, 23, 24?
Oh, no. He was closer to 30.
No, he was not.
I think Han Solo is supposed to be 24 in this movie, and he was like 29, 30. And
while Carrie Fisher's running around 19.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I accept. All
right. There's rumors that Darth Vader is going to make an appearance in this movie.
Bring it.
Sure.
You know? I mean, listen, the last time they surprised us with Darth Vader, it was very exciting.
Wee-woo! All right.
Bring back those memories.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm more excited to see it now than I was before. I still have some reservations. I just want it to be satisfying. I want it to be truthful to the character, and I want to make sure that it fits within like the essence of the character and the spirit of the character. Much like the Star Trek reboot movies, the prequel reboot movies embodied the spirit and essence of those characters. They did a wonderful job doing that. I just want that for this. I didn't quite feel that in the trailer, but it was not, in my opinion, it wasn't enough to judge that. So
same here.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked what I saw. This made me feel something as opposed to Venom not making me feel very much at all.
I completely agree. All right. So next up, we have a couple of TV trailers, including Krypton on the Sci-Fi Channel. We got a nice little trailer for this.
All right. So okay.
The grandfather of Kal-El.
Kal-El, yes.
And the father of Jor-El.
Yep.
And all right. So.
Okay. So you saw the villain that was approaching Krypton, right?
Maybe.
Okay. So there's this thing with giant tentacles approaching Krypton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So to me, clearly, the threat that Adam Strange is warning about is Brainiac.
Yes.
I
would agree.
Because what other villain? Technology,
sure.
time travel,
Right.
wipe Superman out before it even happens.
Yeah.
But you got to think about this. This is really very disturbing and sad because it's like, hey, Superman's granddad. This cape's amazing. Your grandson's going to be amazing. The greatest hero the universe has ever known. You just got to stop your world from dying right now. But it has to die so he can become the greatest hero in the universe.
So how did you feel about that whole presentation where they have the cape there and it's like, this cape is for your grandson? And
It's weird, but it's very comic booky to me.
Yeah.
So I can handle it. I heard that they have a lot of freedom to do whatever they want in the show. Yeah. That they even have plans eventually, maybe in season 2 or 3, to do their own version of a Doomsday storyline. Which wouldn't be out of the question considering that Doomsday is from Krypton.
Well, that's true. And and is it? I forget if it's New 52, but there's a version where Doomsday is from like basically Kryptonian Neanderthals.
Yes, yes.
That Superman's mother studied. That was part of her job, was studying that. And so there's like, I actually kind of liked that storyline. I liked the fact that he was this more primitive, aggressive Kryptonian sort of like, stop on the evolutionary chain of Kryptonians. I rather enjoyed that. And he's already more powerful even under a red sun than normal Kryptonians. So obviously, under a yellow sun, he would be more powerful than Superman. So I would enjoy that. I will be honest with you. You know what this reminded me of?
What?
It reminded me of trailers I saw for the Inhumans.
Yeah, there is a low budge quality thing.
Yeah.
Happen. I mean, not super low budge, but questionable budget.
Yes.
Yes. And it seems to be like a hodgepodge of Kryptonian-ness.
I'm anxious to see it because Superman is one of my favorite characters of all time, so I will watch this. I absolutely loved the beginning of Man of Steel. Everything on Krypton with Jor-El and Zod. I mean, that whole thing was amazing.
only wish the show had the budget to reflect that.
Yeah,
that's,
me too.
That's...
I will say, though, it seemed as though some of this stuff may have just been like additional photography for this trailer and not really representative of the show itself.
Maybe true, but still, with the soldiers marching through the streets with their blasters, and that's a look that's captured and set and there.
Yeah,
I don't know how you fix that.
That's true. They all can't be Battlestar Galactica.
For real.
Yeah.
I mean, that got much bigger budgets.
It did not. That show is very cheap to make.
The new one?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. That show is super cheap to make.
How?
Because they
hire all D-listers.
Because it was fast. It was fast because they shot it documentary style.
Okay.
And the thing is they made everything practical. Like they did, like as far as like no lasers or fancy things. Everything was phones or stuff. So the special effects budget was literally only spent on exterior space shots and the Cylons. Everything else was all like they would like nothing. Like it wasn't anything. And the special effects team on that was really good. It was Gary Hutzel, who also worked on The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, was the supervisor on Battlestar Galactica. And
someone needed to call him.
I don't know what he's doing now. He's probably
sitting at home drinking tea or coffee, going, "They should have called me for Krypton."
They should have called me. So yeah, I'm definitely going to see it. But Battlestar Galactica was fairly inexpensive to make. I think it was less than $1 million an episode, which is
great
cheap for for this kind of stuff. So, all right. So next up is Jessica Jones season 2.
Oh,
this looked fantastic.
It does look fantastic. I'm so excited.
This trailer looked fantastic. And my buddy, did you meet Eric when we were at Comic-Con?
We did not.
Well, you didn't meet him, but he worked on season 2 of this. And he worked 2 days on Defenders as well. But he worked, and I met the boom operator for Jessica Jones as well. So
I know we were carrying around that Jessica Jones season 2 bag,
Jessica Jones
we
season
owned
2
the
bag,
whole place.
and everybody was like, "Where did you get that bag?"
And we're like, "Don't touch our bag."
Like, "Oh, you can't get this unless you worked on the show." So he loaned us a microphone for our New York Comic-Con trip, and it was kind enough to give it to us in a Jessica Jones bag. So it was very awesome. Actually, I might see him this weekend when I'm at the Toy Fair. So
yay! Which Toy Fair are you going to?
New York Toy Fair.
Down there?
In New York.
In New York?
Yeah, New York Toy Fair.
You're going to take pictures for us?
Yeah, of course.
That's right.
Yeah. All kinds of coverage. I'll be there for 2 days. I'll be there Sunday, Monday.
Nice. Are you going to go see Tony?
I'm not going to see Tony.
Okay. Oh, you're going to see your other friend?
Well, she's actually out of town, so we're going to be staying. Actually, my wife and kids are coming down. We're actually going to be staying there Saturday through Monday.
Okay. And enjoy that President's Weekend.
Yeah.
While these guys are in Syracuse.
Are they? No, they're not in Syracuse.
These
they're
guys
in,
are going. I'm sorry, Tennessee.
No. Yeah, they're going to. No, they're going to St. Louis.
Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri.
Missouri.
If you're in St. Louis, Missouri this weekend.
If you're in St. Louis, Missouri at the Pokemon Regional, stop by the Kerwin's Game Store booth. But don't shake Stefan's hand. I'm pretty sure he has the flu. Anyway. So let's talk a little bit about... We kind of put the...
We the cart before the horse, but I don't care.
Here, buddy. So your eyes do not deceive you. That is, in fact, the USS Enterprise NCC 1701. No bloody A, no bloody B, no bloody C or D. The original in Star Trek Discovery. This is from the episode, the finale. This is from the last few moments of the finale. And oh my gosh, did they set up season 2.
Yeah, I can't.
We're not going to spoil. We'll just tell you the finale. I was very satisfied with it.
Yeah.
I had a couple of issues with the ease of things, including the resolution of Laurel's storyline.
Really?
I just felt kind of forced and rushed and not quite believable. And I'm hoping that in season 2 they maybe address some struggles that she continues to go through because of her new position.
Okay.
But yeah, at the very end, they're going to pick up their new captain on Vulcan, and what should happen?
Which I'm so devastated about because I freaking love.
Where's Prime Lorca?
That's true.
Where's Prime Lorca?
He could be alive. He could be alive.
I hope they bring him back. I love Jason Isaacs.
No, but I mean, I loved Doug Jones.
Oh, as Saru, Captain Saru?
Captain Saru, I loved it.
I'll be honest with you. I even told my wife, I said, if Saru is not the captain in season 2, I'll be pissed.
Right? Like, when they're like, oh, go pick up your new captain, I'm like...
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm like, Saru was just freaking awesome, man.
So
the way everything
that would make Burnham the new first officer because she, well, spoiler alert, she's reinstated. Which, by the way, I'm so glad they did, and the President Federation. We're just gonna spoil it. Yeah, spoiler alert.
I just
throw up the spoiler warning. Throw it up there. Red alert, everybody. So there's a nice resolution to everything. Tilly is hysterical in this episode. Clint Howard makes a cameo appearance, which, by the way, is his 4th appearance on a Star Trek show.
Really?
Yep. Here, are you ready for this? We're gonna do a search here. You're gonna love this. Clint Howard, who is Ron Howard's brother, and is in a lot of his stuff. And
in the original series, he was the telekinetic child, right?
Yep. And if that was his first, there he is. Okay, right here. He played Baylock. So here's Baylock from the original series. That is Clint Howard.
Look at that.
Like 7 years old. Okay. So he was Baylock in the original series. He was a Ferengi in a Voyager episode.
Yes.
He actually played one of the Ferengis that came through the Barzan wormhole. There was a Next Generation episode called The Price, where they were all bidding on a wormhole to the Delta Quadrant. And what they didn't realize was that the end snaps back and forth between the Delta Quadrant and the Beta Quadrant, I think. And so when they went through, they went to the Delta Quadrant, and the Ferengi shuttle got stuck there. And then Data and Geordi, hightailed it back and got back to the Alpha Quadrant. So then Voyager stumbles upon this planet where these people are worshiping Ferengis.
Yes.
Because the Ferengis have a replicator. So they're the gods. They're the gods on this planet. And one of them is played by Clint Howard. It's amazing. And the other one is played by the original actor who played one of the Ferengis in the first episode.
Brilliant,
so
by the way.
It was I did this Star Trek marathon where I paired episodes from different series together. So we had The Price from the TNG, and then the episode from the Delta Quadrant with the Ferengis. So because that was like a complete story, right? I did the one where Thomas Riker is discovered in the Next Generation, and then the one where he tries to steal the Defiant in Deep Space Nine. I did one.
I thought that was such a weird thing for him to do, but I really enjoyed it when it happened.
It was a very cool episode. So he makes an appearance as a drug dealing Orion. It's fantastic, by the way. And then Burnham's record is expunged, which, by the way, was my biggest problem with continuity in this show. is that the episode in which the USS Defiant disappears in the original series, which it then goes back in time to the Mirror Universe, and they mention it in Discovery when they're in the Mirror Universe, that episode, Kirk and Spock literally have a conversation about how there's been no recorded mutiny in Starfleet's history. And then we start Discovery, and oh my God, it starts
There's a
with
mutineer.
And I'm like, and she's the first mutineer in Starfleet. So I had a big problem with that for a while. And then when I discovered that because it's funny, Spock says there's never been a mutiny in Star Wars and Starfleet. Jeez, Starfleet. I almost did it.
Yeah.
And then Kirk says, no, there has never been one on record.
Yeah.
He like specifically says that.
Which is so funny. It's so funny that someone back then could think, you know what, let's just write it this way in case.
Yeah.
40 freaking years from now, someone wants to play with this idea.
Just absolutely incredible. So her record is expunged. She's reinstated with her commission. I believe she's reinstated as a commander. Because Saru has seniority on the Discovery and technically Burnham is still a science officer. It's actually, they've switched places. Mm-hmm. The beginning of the season, it was one way, and then this is the other way. She's actually the science officer, and Saru is the commander, is the first officer, and then
an amazing temporary captain.
I just I love Doug Jones has been amazing.
Well, I'm sure we'll get a chance to see him in the role, or maybe that was just like, well, you know what, guys, you don't know what his future is. This is just to tease you.
That's true. So they literally. They're on their way to Vulcan to pick up their new to the new captain, and they get a distress call, and you literally see it's garbled. You can't tell who it is, and then you see the registry ID number pop up, and it goes NCC17, and I'm like, there's no way. Mm-hmm. There's no way they're doing this. There's no way. And then they do it, and Burnham says it's Captain Pike from the Enterprise, and then they drop out of warp to get the coordinates, and then the Enterprise pulls up, and it is the Enterprise. I mean, look at it. It is the Enterprise from the original series.
The best it's ever looked, really.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Because they clearly...
Slightly modified and stuff to be modernized, but man, that is clearly the Enterprise.
By the way, it's still okay if it's slightly modernized because there are differences in the timeline, in that timeline, because Picard went after the Borg.
Headcanon.
No, it's not headcanon.
It is.
No, it's not. They proved this. It's just things are just slightly bit different.
It's possible, and there is the theory of the multiverse. In fact, there's an episode called Parallels in the Next Generation where Worf is jumping between universes.
Yes.
And Data says this thing about how each universe resonates with a quantum signature, and Burnham literally says the exact same line when they jump over to the Mirror Universe, and she's like, everything resonates at the quantum level or whatever. And so yes, you are not wrong, but I still like to think that this is the prime timeline.
No, it's the prime timeline, but I believe that what took place in First Contact and everything subsequently, there was a permanent ripple to that timeline. They made some impact. Yeah. In fact, in Voyager, freaking 7 of 9 knows about the Borg being present at that time.
Right.
So their timeline is permanently altered by those effects. So if the Enterprise, as we now meet it, now knowing that time's been altered just a little bit for that specific timeline, I'm kind of okay with it. Like, I'm not going to flip out because the creator of the warp drive on Earth,
Zephyr Cochrane.
You named your son after him.
My son's name is Zephyr.
Zephyr Cochrane is exposed to all this stuff from the Enterprise. Yeah. They used all of their 24th century technology that they had available to help.
That theory would certainly explain an awful lot.
But I'm almost sure, because even when you watch Enterprise, there's just a couple little things here and there that it's just like, look at those cute little modifications. Yeah. I almost believe it's headcanon. I feel that I'm justified by the Voyager episode. Yeah. Where 7 of 9 is like, actually, we were there for the launch of the Phoenix. What?
And it's interesting because Enterprise fills that in, because the Borg that crashed in the Arctic from the explosion hijack a thing and try to make contact, and Archer has to go after him.
And never realizing that this thing is a Borg.
Right.
And because then it's never documented as Borg.
That's right.
So, well done by all.
Yes.
Good for you, Star Trek universe canon people.
So what do you think is going to happen you and I were talking before the show.
I'm ready for a team up, man.
I want Bruce Greenwood from Star Trek 2009 and Into Darkness to be Captain Pike, and I want Zachary Quinto to be Spock.
That's the dream team.
Because they're the only two characters that are currently on board the Enterprise at this time. None of the other characters are on board.
And you know, all I want is...
They can all be recast.
All I want is for Michael Burnham and Spock to team up.
And technically that did happen in a novel.
But I want it on screen.
A year and a half before this. The other thing that there's an issue with is that Sarek is on board the Discovery. Spock is on board the Enterprise. In Journey to Babel, the TOS episode where it's first revealed that Ambassador Sarek is in fact Spock's father, he mentions that it's been 10 years since... 10 years? 10 or 15 years since they've last spoken. Mm-hmm. If that's true, then they should not be interacting at this point.
No, this could be right. How many years is this supposed to be before we meet?
This is like 8 years before Kirk.
So by the time...
So like 9 years. All right, it's possible that it's... So this could very well be the last time they speak.
Right, and that would be very interesting.
It would be very interesting.
Or how about if they don't talk, even though he's right freaking there?
It's quite possible. The other thing is that, and the producers have said that that this is the promise to answer questions, all like why Spock has never mentioned Burnham and that kind of stuff, and that's what this is the promise of in season 2. So it's very clear that they mean Spock is going to be in season 2.
I would love it. Even if it's just a couple of episodes, I would love it.
They only need them for a couple of episodes. Let's do something cool with them.
Well, they gave us a 2-parter to start season 1. It would be wonderful. An Enterprise. Right? Enterprise original, right?
Yeah.
Like team up. I would love it. It's not even something I was desperately expecting, but I love it. But you want to know what's so funny? Someone had brought this up to me, and I love it. First off, how about the closing credits were the original Star Trek score?
Well, first, as soon as this popped up and they ended the episode, it went into the fanfare of the original series, and then went into the original opening, the music. It was incredible.
It was incredible. I'm getting goosebumps.
I'm gonna go home and watch just that part.
It's just so good. I'm actually getting goosebumps. The opening of every episode is like literally is all these plans for different ships. We're looking at.
Did you notice, by the way, they've been in the opening credit sequence? Mm-hmm. It's clear that they were going to the mirror universe because they have the two hands in different colors touching in a mirror image like that.
Yeah,
it's very clear. They were telling us the whole time.
But they were telling us everything the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Anyhow, those opening credits are amazing because now I look at those opening credits and I was like, oh my god, we've been looking at the blueprints for Star Trek and we've been looking at them from new and different angles. Yeah. Right? And then that's exactly what the show threw in our face. Yep. That we're going to take it, we're going to deconstruct it as you know it, we're going to show you things from a different perspective.
And then we're going to assemble it at the end, and it's going to be the Starfleet that you know and the Federation that you know.
And it seriously did that. Yeah. It did all that. I approve. I'm just, it made me happy. It made me happy.
I am very excited. I want to know what kind of uniforms they're going to wear. I want to know, I cannot believe that they just decided to go. This show always surprises me. Always surprises me. Even when I know it's coming, it's still the emotional reveal is what surprises me every single time. And then they did this, and I'm just like, I'm flabbergasted. I'm like, I can't believe they're just gonna do it. And how exciting that is for Star Trek fans and for me, and just to be back with this ship and these characters and it's funny. I really love, like, even though The Cage isn't a particularly great episode, there are some great characters. Una, the first officer, number 1, the original number 1, played by Majel Barrett.
That's right.
Who is Star Trek royalty. That character is a fascinating character, and I want more of that character.
I can't believe she was doing the voice of the computer up until her death. She died 6 days after doing the voice of the ship for Into Darkness. Yep.
Yep.
You know, what an amazing legacy. And one of the few times where someone passed away and their family jumped in to carry that banner. I find that so impressive. Anyhow, I think, does this cover all of our things? I think it's amazing how the thing that's made us happiest in the launch of 2018 should be Star Trek Discovery has just been like,
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch it all again, and I'm very excited, and I can't wait to see season 2. So, all right, so let's move on to what did we play, and we're going to talk a little bit about some Valentine's gifts that somebody may or may not be getting.
Well, it's okay. This is pre-recorded. We'll be having dinner when this airs. So,
That's right. All right, so first up, why don't you talk a little bit about this?
So this Kotobukiya, is that what it's called?
Kotobukiya. Sure, we'll go with that.
I have, look, it's Koto.us.
Yep.
As soon as the image comes up behind us. And it's a Superman Justice League movie statue.
Adam, can we have the background, please? And it's so weird doing this in the afternoon, isn't it? So talk a little bit about the.
So I actually.
This is an action figure or a collectible, or what is this?
It's a collectible.
It's a collectible.
So it retails for like $74 and change.
Okay.
It was in Kerwin's Poughkeepsie, and it literally called to me. And I just
the best Superman, by the way.
Really, no, for me, yes, because like. I've been so upset. All the other Superman stuff that we've gotten from the recent movies, everything the suit is too dark. Like, so here it is. The Justice League version. Is the brighter colors. Yep. And Brian and I saw this movie together, and we absolutely loved it. And
it came out on Blu-ray and DVD yesterday.
No, digital last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we still have to wait for Blu-ray. Yeah. But Brian downloaded it last night. So voila. But anyhow, I just loved it, and the look and the feel of a proper Superman, and the two of us really love Superman so much. So I was like, I gotta get this.
Very cool.
But no, it's really beautiful. It's nice. It's great quality. And the price is mid-range. So yeah, it does come out later.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's March 13th. It comes out on.
It's very interesting how you can get the digital download and digital version of stuff.
I'm okay with that.
But I'm still physical. It's funny. I talked about this with Brian.
Video games. I very much I buy physical copies.
Yeah, but it's funny how I talked about this with Brian at Christmas time, right? And because he was like fishing for like what kind of gift to get me, and I'm like, I'm all about the combo pack. I'll have the digital copy, my physical copy, a DVD, a Blu-ray, and listen. And it's so funny because I got the combo back for Happy Death Day, right? And Brian hadn't seen it, and Scott Liddell's sister
Written
works
by Scott Liddell, friend of the show.
Yeah, Scott Liddell's sister works at the same school where Brian works.
Oh, really?
And so she's like, "When have you seen it? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Have you seen it?"
Yeah.
And
wow, that's funny. She works with Brian.
So I went to and he showed her the picture of me and Scott together, and she just loved it. And I think she's the one we met at the show briefly when I went downstairs. Oh no, maybe I wasn't with you. I went downstairs. I met his mom, and I met his sister.
I wasn't with you when you met his mother.
So it's so funny. But anyhow, so of course he told her we finally saw it. But the night we were watching it, he's like, I don't have a Blu-ray player in my room, right? And I'm like, well, what's that? He's like, oh, it's a DVD player. And I'm like, combo pack. So we watched it on DVD, and it looked fine. And it was just so. The only thing is, we didn't have the alternate ending on the DVD. It's only on the Blu-ray. So I told him next time. But anyhow, Superman statue, awesome. You can order it through Kerwin's, of course. And like I said, I think the price is just right.
Very cool.
For that special someone, maybe not on Valentine's Day, maybe a birthday.
True. All right, so next up is, I love this, by the way.
Oh, I do too.
This is absolutely amazing. The Daily Planet calendar.
It's a 3D calendar. and it's great. And I set it to February 14th. And then of course we taped it because the blocks all fall out. Yeah. So the woman at Hallmark actually taped it into place for me and then boxed it in a Hallmark box.
How tall is this?
It's like this tall. It's heavy.
Yeah.
I mean,
that tall. Is it ceramic or something? Or?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
This one retails for $24.95. You know, so
That's not bad.
No, this sucker is like serious. Now you know why I was thinking of your coffee mug. Oh, I was gonna say there's a Star Wars one there, and I thought about it for a second, but like I said, it was too big. Yeah. A Star Trek one. Oh my god, I gotta stop talking. So yes, I think this is adorable. It's cool. Perfect for his desk at the school. Yeah. Right, and so yeah, I just want to share that, and they're cool, and obviously this is available through Hallmark. Sorry, Kerwins, but we can't have it all, right? Actually, I think it's a Hallmark original, so that's really cool.
Very cool. So that's about it. I will mention a couple things as far as play goes. I've been playing Skyrim, which is like 7 years old. It came out on the Nintendo Switch right before Christmas, and I picked up a copy. I hadn't played it yet, but I just started playing it. Got really into it. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. And what was the other? I'm currently borrowing a PlayStation VR. And there's a Star Trek Bridge Crew game. Ooh. Where you can be, and it's set in the Kelvinverse, on an experimental starship called the USS Aegis, and you play as one of 4 crew members on the bridge, either the captain, the navigator, the weapons officer, or the engineer. And you use the PlayStation wands to actually touch the buttons on the console. So you're literally like sitting in the chair with the VR on and the headphones, and you're like and like doing the thing. And if you're one player, so it's meant to be like four multiplayer. So like 4 people get in, and they each have a position, and so you're like, okay, attack that ship. So then the engineer has to give weapons to the energy to the weapons, and then the weapons officer has to target the ship, and then the navigator has to move the ship into position. Like you have to work together as a team. If you're playing it one player, you give orders as the captain, or you can actually take over each station and do the stuff that needs to be done. So it's very cool. But just being in, like, you look down and you see your uniform, and like you go down and push buttons, and then they have an original series bridge mode. Oh. Except none of the buttons are labeled. Okay. And so you're literally like, and you can, as the captain, you can pick up a clipboard and like punch it. Like, it's very cool. It's very cool. So
I like the clipboard. Yeah. Yeah, it's really messed up if you think about it. When you watch some episodes of the original series, they have the freaking clipboard.
Oh yeah, they got the clipboard.
Like when they introduced that girl to be Kirk's love interest in season 3, I think.
Human Rand?
Yes.
I mean, she's not really the love interest.
I know, but they introduced her intentionally. But anyhow, at the end of her first episode, she's holding a clipboard, and I'm like, oh my god.
It's a space clipboard.
I've never watched those episodes in order, but through you, I learned that they had this idea of giving him a love interest in her, and I'm just like, of course you did, CBS,
But yeah, so I've been playing a lot of video games recently, and some board games too. So, but yeah. So I think that's going to wrap it up for today.
We really got to give some board game love.
Oh yeah, hopefully we're going to be improving some of the aspects of the show, including intros, segues, and some pre-produced board game packages that showcase the board game a little bit more than just us talking about it, different camera angles and stuff like that. So we're excited about that.
I am excited.
And you might be seeing that sooner rather than later. So. I think that's it. Everybody have a happy Valentine's Day. If you're interested in anything that we talked about on the show, stop into Kerwin's Poughkeepsie or Kerwin's Catskill, and check out the comic books. Check out that Superman statue. And again, join the conversation. Tweet us, message us, leave a comment below, and we'd love to interact more with you guys. So. You've been watching Read, Watch, Play. Thank you as always. I'm your host, Tony Cox.
And I'm Clifford Parmenter. Feel free to tweet us. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram.
And everybody have a good night.